Hello, it's me, Jessica Reba, and today we're going to be talking about something that has always been on people's, timelines. People are always talking about this, and it is the question, are G Idol problematic? And I feel like a lot of people would jump and say yes, a lot of people would jump and say no. I wanted to do a video where I just talked about what happened, why people think they're problematic, and then I want to give my opinion and what I think of all of the stuff that's happened. And you guys can comment your opinions and let's get a discourse going. So, first, we have to look at all of the stuff that people have criticized them for, and honestly not many people write news articles about this, so I just did the best I could. I found a account on Twitter, and this Twitter account is basically just an archive of all of the things they've seen idols do that are problematic or that are considered problematic. So I would recommend you guys going on the actual account to read and have a look and watch the videos themselves. Unfortunately, I can't really use videos because I'll just get striked, because you guys know how Mnet are. I can't get my channel took down. So I would recommend checking out their account as well, just to watch the evidence, because I will assure you it actually is evidence and it's not just some random person on Stan Twitter going off, okay? I actually did research, I swear. So now I'm just going to list all of the things that they have been criticized for, and then I'm going to talk about it. So first, they were criticized for the use of henna in the La Tata MV. Then later they were criticized for the use of dream catchers being used as props in a music show performance. Then it was using a mosque as a background on a live stage, and a backup dancer had her face completely covered. Also, in an interview, Soyeon said she wanted to try quote unquote an ethnic concept. In their recent Queendom performance, they mixed Indian culture wearing bindis, and they used Native American war cries in their song. And you can check that out on YouTube, but I can't include it here because of copyright, you guys know the drill. Continuing on from the Queendom performance, the backup dancers wore red makeup similar to a Native American face paint style. And the most recent thing, and the last thing that they have gotten criticised for recently, is also on Queendom. It's kind of like a backstage kind of thing where they're talking about the type of performance and cover of 21's Fire that they wanted to do. And Soyeon wanted Yuki to do an African style, quote unquote, and a chief shouting. Soyeon wanted to include African instruments, and some members beat their table to imitate it. And Soyeon called her idea ethnic hip, and members said it was a good idea. So now that you guys have seen all the stuff that they have been criticised for, you guys can form your own opinion. Now I'm going to tell mine. I'm sorry about my bird screaming in the background. She wants to get let out, but it's too early for her to come out, okay? So just deal with it, please. So obviously there's the question of, are G Idol racist? And honestly, I don't think they are. I don't know G Idol that well. I know the members just because I see them all over the timeline. They're a popular group, they have good songs. Honestly, I don't think they're racist, because racism is obviously discriminating towards another race and being hateful towards that race. And I don't think G Idol are hateful towards any races or cultures. I think that they are ignorant, and there's something that's just something completely different. So I'm not an expert on this stuff, and I probably never will be. And from what I've gathered from, the many, many years I've been into K-pop, I feel like a lot of idols and just the general culture in Korea, they don't know, or they are not as educated as well as people in the West are when it comes to stuff like cultural appropriation and stuff like that. You know, if cultural appropriation was such a big deal, or they were educated on it in Korea, I don't think G Idol would be doing what they were doing so much, if that makes sense. So can we really blame G Idol for their actions, or do we blame the culture around them for not being educated on that stuff? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's still not right what they're doing, and they do need to be educated, but I just think it's really hard to say that they're actually racist or stuff like this, because I just think that they don't realize what they're doing is wrong. I don't think that they're meaning any ill intent, and you guys probably know that as well. I don't want to stick up for their actions, because their actions are wrong. They shouldn't be doing this. But the thing is, just with the culture in Korea, I don't think appropriation and stuff like that is as big in Korea as it is in the West. It's really just hard because there's that cultural barrier. And the thing is, even though I want them to be educated, it's just they never pay attention to what us bloody Westerners say, do they? And obviously, I feel like this goes without a doubt, but obviously, if you are offended, you have a right to be offended. And I think people who are like saying, oh, you shouldn't be offended at this, you know, blah, 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 like, no, that ain't cute. Like, if someone's offended for their actions, then it's justifiable. Because at the end of the day, if someone's like, you know, appropriating your culture and stuff like that, then you have a right to be offended. But even if you are offended, I do just like want to like kind of remind you that they don't really know what they're doing and you still have the right to be offended, but I just really believe that they don't do this with ill intent and they just need to be educated rather than witch hunted. You know, I'm just a little half British, half Filipino girl, so I don't really and I can't really speak on behalf of anyone who is or was offended, you know. All I can say is that I just personally believe that they don't realize what they're doing is wrong. But like I said, you can still be offended if you want to because it's still your culture, you know? I respect, personally, for me, I respect any opinion. If you are offended, then you have the right to be. And if you're not offended and if you're part of that culture and you think it's appreciation, then I respect that opinion too. I just think that they don't realize what they're doing is like problematic, considered to be problematic in the West. And you know, I don't stan G-Idol that much. I do like their title tracks, you know, their bops, and you know, they are all gorgeous and talented girls. And I honestly just believe that they don't realize what they're doing is like, you know, considered to be problematic in the West. So the title of this video is G-Idol problematic? And I want to say that I don't think they're inherently problematic and they're not meaning to be problematic, but I think that they have done problematic stuff. And that is all up to the individual if they're offended or not, because, you know, it's your opinion, you know. I'm just out here giving my point of view, and if you disagree, that's fine. If you agree, well, cool, you know. The one thing I will say, and if you are offended, I don't want to order you around, but I honestly think, even if you are offended, I think witch hunting and mindless hating is just the wrong thing to do. I think to criticize them with constructive arguments is like, you know, perfectly reasonable and fine, but if you're just like blindly witch hunting and hating and trying to cancel them, like, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's productive for anyone. Just like writing out an argument where you can, you know, educate someone on issues rather than just like saying, oh, I hate this person, let's cancel them. Oh, this person's horrible, let's cancel them. Oh, she's ugly, she's horrible, she's fat. Like, you know what I mean? It's so like counterproductive, and I think, you know, maybe it's too much of me to ask, but like actually talking like adults would just be so gorgeous, you know? Like, I think educating is so much better than hating because hate breeds more hate, and when you attack someone with such like a brash view, like insulting after insult after insult, it alienates someone from wanting to see your side of the argument. So isn't it not just better to like find a good middle ground, you know? Maybe Jidal will one day, you know, realize what they're doing is like problematic. So yeah, honestly, I can't bring myself to dislike G-Idol. I think they're all really nice and talented girls. They've just said stupid stuff that they don't realise is stupid. And the thing is, there's so many more instances of idols doing this. And I really do believe that in the culture of, you know, South Korea, they just don't have like this big issue of cultural appropriation there, and they don't realize how big of a deal it is in the West. Otherwise, you know, idols wouldn't be doing it as much. There's so many cases of idols making comments similar to G-Idols, or just like, you know, talking about Desi culture or black culture, just stuff like that. I feel like a lot of idols are just ignorant to this stuff, you know what I mean? And I don't think G-Idols should be the only ones being cancelled for it, because, you know, if we're canceling people, then we should be canceling a lot more people than G-Idol. So yeah, honestly, this is a hard subject for me to talk about because, you know, I'm white and Filipino. I've never had to like deal with issues like cultural appropriation firsthand because, you know, it's like not really, no one's busting no one's busting to you know, replicate British culture, like, come on. So I just wanted to give my opinion in like the most non-biased way as possible, because honestly, I don't want to be on that side that's constantly cancelling people, because I think cancel culture is toxic, and I don't want to be on that side where you justify actions. You know, I just want to be in the middle. I'm not a G-Idol stan. I really like their music and I think they're gorgeous and talented girls, but you know, I can't help but see all this stuff about them, and I think it would be a good topic to talk about and open the discussion to. So I would love to know what you guys think about all of this. Let me know if you agree or disagree or have your own opinion that is kind of similar or not similar. I don't know. I just like hearing what you guys have to say. Don't start a war in the comments. That's all I'm asking. Just be nice to each other, you know? Is that too much to ask? Okay. Be respectful and leave your opinion down below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.